Let me see the. Tell me, what are the thoughts? Also, there's some other things I was going to mention. Your script is super funny. Like I was just laughing out loud.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
That's interesting because that's the one thing I was like, you know what? I'm not funny. I'm not funny,
dude.
So
dude, it's
that
funny
was like,
as hell.
Really? You think? Because I was like,
now we're
you know
switching topics
back to the bebops, but I was like, this is the one thing that this is going to need. If this gets bought by like a studio or something, they're going to need to add a comedic element.
I don't know if my family heard me. Like I was just like busting, I don't know, whatever you call it.
Wow, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I just and I think also part of it's like I was also laughing. I think possibly in times like subconsciously of the fact that you have an agent, and I'm like reading this like this Connie character. I wonder who this is based on. Like, is that based on your
no, it's not. I love the agent that I have now, but that's great to hear. And then I had a meeting out in LA recently, and
really?
They told me something about the script that was interesting because I was like, yeah, I think if with anything we just need to add a comedic element to it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, you just bring in that actor, you bring in that funny actor, and they add that to it themselves.
Yeah.
And that was interesting to me because I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
But that's good to know that you thought it was funny. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny. But yeah, you had a meeting out there in LA. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's that? Yeah, so what is your? That's actually perfectly transitions into the other thing I wanted to talk about this script. Yeah, so you are basically what is your plan? Do you have do you want to talk about your strategy to get it made? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I came up with the idea. I wrote the script, and then I wanted to use the kids' book. So I self-published a kids' book and use this. I wanted to use this as a way to promote it in like differently than what everyone tries to do. And then from there, yeah, I'm hoping that a big studio gets on board or someone who has a connection with a big studio or a big director gets on board and make it. I mean, that's the plan is to get it made big.
Are you planning to are you gonna voice act be a Bernie or something?
I don't have any plans on being in
what element,
but I want to be in Satori, the first one I made. I want to be the lead.
I have to read that. I read this one.
I need a lot of work on that still.
All right, I'll look at it
because there's, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. There's no structure, and I have someone helping me with that one as well. But it would be great to get your feedback too.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
But it's just kind of all over the place. I cut out the beginning. It was like 121 pages.
Mm-hmm. Okay, which
is pretty long.
Yeah.
And then I even just like format. I didn't even have
that problem where I just write really long shit. Like I have the problem where I write, unless it's the project I worked like a few years on, that just ballooned up. Right now, like Boys Be Boys, the script it was a short film. It's being expanded upon. It's being extended. The scenes are being more fleshed out, and we're also just adding all these different perspectives. We're really fleshing out the women's perspectives on it and making it more accurate to women's perspectives with that whole world of what we're trying to put together, and make it true to everything. But I still feel like it might. I don't know, because I write in Google Docs. I can't write in Final Draft.
That's what I write in, and apparently my formatting's all messed up.
Yeah.
So I just linked up with Wilmington.
Wait, Final Draft or Google Doc?
I use Google Docs.
Yeah, me
and I just linked up with a college professor from one of my acting classes, and she's like a professor in screenwriting.
Yeah.
And I sent her Satori, and she's like, this is like, what did you use to format this with? I was like, Google Docs. And she's like,
listen to them. But you know what? Here's the thing.
So it went from like 100 pages actually to like 80. So whatever formatting I was using, it was making it much longer.
That's the thing. I think Norman told me, because he was dishing on me for writing the way I do. He told me that screenplay formatting is to get it more accurate to a page per minute.
Yeah.
And then just all the other things as well. But Final Draft is a good one. But what I do is I write in Google Docs, and I don't do any formatting at all. I just write. I just enter quote
down on
like
paper.
put the dialogue in quotes, and then
Yeah.
blah blah says, kind of almost like I'm writing a novel or whatever, but lazy. And then I just and very very minimal description, because that's just the way I that's what it boils down to when I revise it so many times. And then so I do that, and then once it's finished, once it's finished and maybe probably gotten feedback, and I'm ready to like copyright it, go through the copywriting process. Yeah, then I write it into transfer it into a script. But if I'm going to change things to make it match script format, I'm going to change it into Google Docs as well, just so that I can, go back to, if I'm going to rewrite something, I have to go back to Google Docs. I have to write in there. I can't write in screenplay format for some reason.
Yeah, it's just easier to use.
My brain.
That's what I use for the bebops too.
But I think that's really interesting. We both do something similar with that. But yeah.
But I got torn apart by Wilmington screenwriting professor.
Whatever.
But that's how you learn, man. You got to put yourself out there,
Yeah. But what is your involvement with this in terms of like the bigger production? What is your involvement? Would you like to have, just aside from writing it?
Yeah, I mean, see, this is all going to be new to me if and when it happens. When it happens, got to think positively. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, whatever they would offer me. I mean, I would like to be involved in it. I'd like to be involved as a writer, or maybe like associate producer or something.
Writing it and then getting it sold, pretty much.
I want to get it made, and I want to be involved.
Yeah.
I want to be involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the goal is to get it made, and if I can't be involved,
yeah.
I mean, the end goal is to get it made, though. But I mean, it would be great to be involved, and then to meet other people and get more connections, and then that's your in.
See, my method, like if I were to look at it, I was like, no, I didn't know how. I wasn't sure. There's the route of going that way, like where you go and find like a big production, go big, get like a big production to back it and whatnot. And I was normally, like right now, the route I go is for like a director who wants to really refine his craft of directing, and being an independent indie filmmaker and kind of have an independent path and not have to rely on feedback that I don't think is accurate or true, and so my route has been like figure it out yourself. Like,
so I'm taking that route too on a different project.
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing just throwing things out there and seeing what sticks. So this is a different route.
You want like Satori. I think that's a good idea, because you want to like, I worked with that DP who kind of upped my game. If you do that, if you go that route where you get this into the big leagues, it's like,
and then I can make something that I want, or I can make a passion project myself where I have more control.
Yeah.
So
I'm taking. You also are working with people who can up your game.
Yeah.
So that's,
and I have the connections now that I can do that. So I'm taking that route with this one. Mm-hmm. But then, like we talked about Satori, my first script, I'm using Resignation, which I'm making this February as like a proof of concept film, and we're going to use that to promote Satori and get funding for Satori, and hopefully then make that myself with my cast and crew.
If you get like really like successful and famous and you become like the next like DiCaprio or whatever, don't forget about the World War II film I want to make. Basically though.
But yeah, so then we'll have the connections to make that thing big.
Right, cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Here we go. We're gonna
got to think outside the box. You got to think different, because there's so many people out there that are trying to do the same thing.
The reason I think in terms of like, I just want to keep my project to myself and make it myself. But I do like the idea of working with people to like, improve myself. But I want to work with, if I'm going to work with other people, it's like, I want to work on projects that I work on them with, just with them, and not projects that I've spent like months, years, hundreds of hours trying to write and figure out, just to take their feedback heavy-handedly and screw up stuff that I was working so diligently on and trying to perfect the details of and do it my way. Because those are the films that I've come to love, that I've come to watch a lot of, and it's like there's like one of my favorite filmmakers, Tarkovsky, like Andrei Tarkovsky, this Russian filmmaker. you watch one of his films, it's like it takes you to another world, man. Like you feel like time is expanding because he's doing things that I read his book. I've read his book once. I'm reading it again and I've watched all of his films more than once because I don't understand what he's doing. But he's doing something with the actors and the performances and the shots and everything that just, it feels like time is expanding. And it's like your brain, the first time I saw one of his films, I felt like this guy is a pretentious piece of shit. I hated it. I hated his film, but I didn't realize I was starting off in the deep end. His film, The Mirror, which is his most autobiographical film, and it's his most out there film because even when they're making it in the editing room, they almost didn't have it make sense and work for him. Which, if it doesn't work for him, it's not going to work for anybody.
Right.
Because but I've come to admire that. I've come to like those kind of films where it's like these people are doing what is so deeply intrinsically, right to them, and it's not right to the masses. It's not right to most people. Like, it's not commercial. It's more like a fine wine that you have to acquire the taste for in order to really be satisfied by it and to appreciate it. But once you do, you can never look back at other films again.
Yeah.
In the same way. You can't, you feel like it's like, this is great. I have appreciation for all these other films, but it's like once you watch, you really appreciate these kind of films, or like Ingmar Bergman, you're like, it's like what I mean, what is like something that's of high quality that once you are exposed to it, it's like you can't look at anything else the same. It just changes.
Right, the way you look at things and see things.
Can't think of what.
As a producer now, especially, I mean, my goal is to just have the best film made possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't mean it has to.
Yeah, it's kind of,
so it doesn't have to be necessarily my way. Even like in the book I'm reading now with Jocko Willink, you got to put your ego aside, because everyone wants the same goal. You want that best film, and I purposely surround myself with people that think differently, because I want a different perspective.
Yeah.
So you get those perspectives, and then together you make the best film. And sometimes you have to put that ego aside and say, hey, my idea I thought was the best way, but I hear his idea and that actually works better. Or even in like a fight scene, you think that you have the best idea, and then, you have the sound guy say, oh, hey, it might work better this way. And then you take that and use that. You don't have to just do something a certain way because it was, your idea, or, you just have to put your ego aside sometimes to get the best product, because everyone wants just the best film.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm the way I talk about these filmmakers, I talk in a way where I'm like I'm making it sound like I probably am leaning on the pretentious side, but no, I know what you mean. And that's actually how I am too. It's in a way, it's like, I do still get my friends to read the script and give me their feedback. Now I've also learned it's like you also want to know,
but then at the same time you do have to stick to your vision, because you don't want to be like, okay, well, that doesn't work with my vision, that doesn't work with the film that I'm imagining. So I hear you, but it's not the way that we want to go.
And like one way so back when I was struggling to finish a script for for a while and actually get back to filmmaking, I really had to push my ego aside in terms of, and then my ego was different back then. I had different views then, and I had to honestly just kind of expose my not expose. I kind of had to just be open to what my friends and people around me that I trusted said, or I thought I trusted, to tell me the truth, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Like, somebody help me, give me the feedback that I can improve this, that I can get, past this hurdle of getting stuck in quicksand. And I started getting feedback, and then I would lean too far into, taking too much feedback from people, and I would learn that when you can know when you're getting the wrong feedback, when you get feedback upon feedback, where you get where you tell somebody else's feedback to somebody else, and that person's feedback to somebody else, and then you figure out what they have to say about them.
Well, in
And
the end, you got to
yeah.
follow your heart.
Yeah, true.
You know?
That too.
But so some feedback
but
you
yeah.
take and others you don't.
Yeah, and one of the things was
But
like,
it's important to be open to
Yeah.
feedback and critiques.
yeah, and
You know?
but this person who didn't say anything about my work, I thought they just didn't have opinion. When in fact it was they knew that I was following something with my heart, and I was like I knew what it was, and they sensed that and they saw it and they liked that I was doing. And then when I started doing something else to be fitting in with somebody else's vision, they helped me kind of come back to what it is I was trying to do that was kind of closer to what I was trying to aim for myself. Right. And that helped me understand myself better as an artist. And I still, you know, that's why I've surrounded myself with people who I trust and who have given me good feedback that leads me closer to what, you know, is true to me.
Right.
But yeah, you do have to like sometimes say, hey, enough. Let's do it this way.
No, yeah, I agree. You know, you can't.
But yeah,
just
the ego is a thing you gotta tackle with. I still struggle with it. Whenever
as a leader, or you know, that's a big thing. You have to put that ego aside and just do what's best for the team and do what's best for that end goal. I mean, because everyone wants that same goal, and you just have to focus on that.
And this is where you like your experience with being a Delaware State Trooper, and you're going into SWAT. We haven't talked about that, you know.
Yeah,
dude, you're going into SWAT, man.
Yes, I went.
You're gonna meet Samuel L. Jackson. I'm just kidding.